and Sheik Adnan LKC. I've asked Tommy Ferrara, promoter Eddie Sharkey, and unfortunately, the Golden Idol representing the Sheik, to be my guests this evening. Eddie, I'm going to start with you. Is this match, in fact, in the offing, the Sheik and Tommy Ferrara?
Well, no, I don't want the match. Ray Webby, I asked Ray about it. He don't want the match. We don't want the match. It's a very, very explosive situation. Somebody can get hurt there. Tommy's been wounded twice in Vietnam. He has to go in for an operation on his shoulder. The Sheik's nuts. We all know that. He likes to hurt people. No, I don't want the match. Ray don't want the match. No, I don't know anything about it.
Okay, and Tommy, let's talk about that incident with the Sheik. He had just about dismantled poor Red Tyler the other evening at George's. You came into the ring to check on Tyler, and after that, it all broke loose.
Never seen anything so ridiculous. I mean, I got in this sport because I love this sport. Sheik's got this man down. He's got him in the figure four. He's giving up. He pops his knee out of socket. He keeps cranking on it. The Sheik's grinding on his knee and grinding on his knee. Somebody had to do something. I got in there. I got him loose, and then the Sheik went crazy on me. I had no choice. Somebody had to do something, or Red Tyler would probably never be able to walk again.
Well, and of course, the Sheik and you, Mr. Idol, proceeded to put the bad mouth on Tommy Ferrara. You're spitting on him. You're calling him every name in the book. What on earth possesses you and your man, the Sheik, to resort to that kind of behavior?
Hey, let me just tell you this right off the bat. Tommy Ferrara had no right coming in the ring. Who is he to come in the ring? That's what I want to know. What right does Tommy have to get inside that ring and interfere in the match?
Okay, well, I think he explained that Red Tyler was on the verge of having his career ended. We'll get back to you in just a minute. Eddie, you related something to me before we came out that I find very scary indeed. Something about this movie, this new Tom Cruise film, Born on the 4th of July. What's going on here?
Well, that's another reason. Yes, it is scary. There's such a thing as flashbacks. People can get hurt, killed. Let Tommy explain it to you.
Okay, Tommy, what has been going on? Now, Eddie has told me this is a new Tommy Ferrara, unlike any that we've seen in the past, and we've seen you in some wars with Larry the Butcher Cameron and so on and so forth. Something's going on in your head, my friend. What's happening here?
These are some things that haunted me in the past. People told me not to go see that movie. I went and seen it, and Tom Cruise was wounded the same day I was in Vietnam. He was also in the same area I was, so it's really rather not even, talk about it. I just like to let it go.
Okay, now the way Eddie has been explaining this to me, you've actually been having some flashbacks as a result of this movie being released. It's taking you back to what I know is a very frightening and a life-threatening time for you. If you can ignore this goofball to my right, I know this is a real intense situation for you.
Well, it's something I have to get over myself. Nobody can help me. I just got to get over myself. It just brings back some times that I've tried to forget.
Okay, now in this frame of mind, are you all right, okay, I was going to ask him if he's ready to wrestle the Sheik. You're standing over here like well, I don't want to say. I'm the host of the program. What is with you? The man is obviously in a very emotional state right here, and who can blame him? And you're standing here laughing at him.
Hey, let me tell you something. Tommy Ferrara, I'm tired of hearing about Vietnam. I'm tired of hearing about the war and what you people did. You lost. Face it. You people lost the war, okay? I'm tired of hearing about your shoulder. I mean, look at the man. He's a maniac. I'm telling you, Tommy, let me tell you something right now. Let me make something perfectly clear to you. Once and for all, get it through your head. The war is over. You lost. You were part of it. Enough with the shoulder. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If, in fact, the Sheik's army were to go inside there, buddy, he would have won. Do you understand?
No.
Yes, no.
Now here comes. Oh my God! Get him out of here, Eddie. Get him out of here, Eddie. For God's sake!
He's crazy. I'm telling you, Tommy Ferraro, you bit off more than you could chew. I'm telling you, when the Sheik cares about this, he's gonna go crazy. You're gonna be dead. Do you understand that? Do you see what he did to me?
I saw what he
can't believe this.
Ladies and gentlemen, he can rant and rave all he wants while you sat there and antagonized the man. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get the Golden Idol out of here. We're going to check on the mental state of Tommy Ferrara. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Get out of here. Take a hike. Get out of here.
Oh, my.
A
Great night of wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, with the NWA, and we'll talk a little bit more about that incident between Sting and the Four Horsemen a little bit later on. Our Ringside of the Week segment will return next week, but right now my guest at this time really holds a very special position in Twin Cities professional wrestling right now. As you know, the PWA has become perhaps the leading independent wrestling promotion in the United States, and this gentleman is in fact the commissioner of the PWA, the Pro Wrestling America promotion. Terry Katzman, welcome aboard.
It's great to be here, Mick. I've wanted to be here for a long time, and I'm happy to be here. What can I say?
I know it has been a long time, and that's my fault, my friend. I do apologize for that. Before we talk about your stewardship in the PWA, Professional Wrestling America promotion, let's talk about your original involvement in professional wrestling from a fan standpoint.
Well, probably the original time, the first time I was on, or not mostly involved in professional wrestling, would be watching it, of course, like anybody else, probably starting in about 1963, 64, and ever since then, watching Vern Gagne's old shows, I've been hooked, and it's gotten worse each year, so.
Well, yeah, it's the same for me, but we prefer to say it's gotten better each year.
Gotten better.
Better, not worse. Okay. Let's talk about another thing that you're involved in before we talk about the PWA, and I know that's that record shop out in South Minneapolis, Garage Door Records, and a golden oldie buff like myself. There's a lot of stuff in there.
I think we've got a pretty good selection to please the young, the old, and the middle, everyone.
It'll be $500 for the plug. Okay,
That's right.
Let's talk about professional wrestling in the PWA. As I said, this is perhaps the leading independent promotion in the nation right now. I know that you have known Ray Webby, the matchmaker for the PWA, and Eddie Sharkey, the promoter, for quite some time. How exactly did you fall into the role of commissioner of the PWA?
Well, the first commissioner of the PWA was not able to continue his duties on, and I was on the matchmaking council with Mr. Webby and Mr. Sharkey, and we needed a commissioner. We needed someone to rule on these very controversial matches. There was decisions here, decisions there. Office work needed to be done, and I was appointed commissioner sort of to oversee decisions, oversee some of the matchmaking processes, and I've been involved with it for about a year now.
And you've done an outstanding job, and I know you were heavily involved in one of the real success stories of the past year, that Wrestle for Shelter at Loring Park. A great job there. As PWA commissioner, you're talking about some of these controversial things that develop. Just last week on SNR, we had Mark Allen, well, the Golden Idol. I'll refrain from calling him anything else. He was out here with Tommy Ferrara. He said some very derogatory things about Tommy Ferrara. Obviously, Tommy's mental condition at the time. He was very, very vulnerable. The Golden Idol took advantage of him. Now the talk is February 26th at George's in Fridley. I know you're heavily involved in the promotion. Sheik Adnan LKC and Tommy Ferrara. Nobody wanted this match because of Tommy's mental state. A lot of animosity there. Now the match has been signed. What's going on?
Well, I think Tommy and the Sheik are going to have a meeting at George's, and I think Tommy's in fine form to wrestle. I think his mental state is pretty stable, but he's fired up, and I think what happened with Mark Allen out here, he was obviously antagonizing him. He was trying to cause trouble, and Tommy was obviously very disturbed about it, and I think the situation's gotten out of control now, and the only way to settle it is in the wrestling ring.
Absolutely, and push comes to shove. And as you said, Mark Allen out here, obviously he doesn't know anything about the Vietnam War. He doesn't know that from a V8 juice. He doesn't know anything. His intent right out here was to antagonize Tommy Ferrara, get underneath his skin, even if it was that cheap shot route that he took. Terry, I know you mentioned to me, again, that Eddie Sharkey and Ray Webby and yourself very hesitant to put this match together because of the depth of feeling that Tommy Ferrara has, not only for the Sheik, but of course for the Golden Idol now. But it was the fan demand after the last bout at George's that really caused this. Again, the PWA, the fans' promotion.
Yep, the fans clamored for it, and I think the PWA is known as the fans' promotion, and after meeting with Mr. Webby and Mr. Sharkey, we decided that this match needed to be signed, and it needed to happen, and of course the only place it could happen would be at George's.
Back at the Snake Pit indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't envy this man. He has a very difficult job indeed, especially when he's dealing with the likes of the Golden Idol, Mark Allen. Remember, February 26th is the date at George's in Fridley. Tommy Ferrara, fired up, gets his chance against Sheik Adnan LKC. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get back to the wrestling action in Dallas in just a moment. Before I introduce my guest at this time, if we could get a shot of the program up on the screen, that is from the Minneapolis Auditorium, ladies and gentlemen, going all the way back to November of 1965, which will give you an idea of how long this man has been busting heads in the professional wrestling business, back then involved in a torrid feud with the one and only Crusher. He is the Russian superstar, Chris Markoff. Chris, welcome to Saturday Night at Ringside.
Rusy, Makedoci, Polacy, Czechoslovacy, znajte nije sme,
Chris.
najdobri iz Čekovački budeme najdobri.
Chris,
I kemu dokažeme.
you have been in this country for many years now. You've been on our show before. Everybody is well aware that you can speak English. If we could have you do that, please.
Oh, let me tell you one thing. When Russia talk, everybody listen. When Russia talk, everybody understand. Except you. Maybe you don't understand. But everybody in the United States, they understand Russian. And when Chris Markov talk, everybody listen.
Well, quite obviously, there isn't much choice in the matter. Let's talk about the career of Chris Markoff. I showed that program going back 25 years, and as I indicated, right from the very beginning with you, sir, you have left a trail of broken bodies in this sport, most recently up in Canada. I talked to promoter Tony Condello. He says that right now you are the most fined and suspended wrestler in the Canadian area.
Well, let me tell you another thing now. Put it back, that program there. Crusher, you're the best for your time. You're the best wrestler in the world. The toughest, the roughest, all over the country. I wrestle him many times, many places, right here in Minneapolis. But one thing you forget, always Chris Markov was the winner. You know why?
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Because I'm the Russian, and I'm smarter, better than anybody else, and that's the why.
Okay,
My hand was raising every time. I never lost in my lifetime.
Well.
Only few matches.
Well, yeah, a few matches, and I'm sure the record books would probably dispute the outcome of some of those matches with the Crusher. At any rate, let's talk about what's happening right now with Chris Markoff. I know you're involved with many, many independent wrestling promotions around the United States. People who want to can see you wrestle here in the Twin Cities area of the Upper Midwest many, many times.
Well, let me tell you another thing now. Still, you see me wrestle live right here all over the United States, but you don't see Crush anymore. You don't see Reggie Parks anymore or Doug Gilbert. And I'm right now to prove it to the people again, because still I'm the best. Still I'm the winner. And you people right there, when you see Chris Markov finger the Russian flag and you say, Chris, you're still the best. Still you're the strongest, the toughest, and the roughest wrestler in the world.
Well,
And
no.
I'm coming very soon, right here in Minneapolis.
Well, no question about it, ladies and gentlemen. The man's reputation does precede him. We're down to about 1 minute right now, Chris, and I want to address something with you before we go. Ever since you got into the professional wrestling business, you've had this intense hatred for the American wrestlers, the American way of life, despite the fact that you certainly have earned a substantial living in our country. There's some big changes going on over in the Soviet Union right now. That political system that you were so very, very proud of and espoused year after year, things aren't going so well. Some drastic
What are
changes.
you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. Nothing changes in my country. Everything is same. Everything gonna be the same. And you'll see that Russia is the best country in the world. And the Russia you control.
Ladies and
all
gentlemen,
over the
he's
world.
going to rant and rave, I'm sure.
The Russian is-
Every time we get Chris Markoff, he's leaving, and I guess it's a good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, despite whatever changes are happening all over the world, that man's hatred for the American society and the American wrestlers continues year after year. And as he said, the Crusher, Reggie Parks, Doug Gilbert, all the men of that era, they're gone. That man continues to rack up victories all over the world, the Russian, Chris Markoff. Wrestling fans, I said at the top of the program that the Golden Idol had challenged Tommy Ferrara to a face-to-face confrontation. Here it is, time to do the interview, and I have not seen the Golden Idol, so there it is. The yellow streak down his back is about as yellow as his hair. Tommy, a couple of weeks back here on SNR, admittedly, you lost it just a little bit. I don't blame you for a minute. That buffoon was out here antagonizing you. You're here tonight supposedly because he wanted a confrontation with you. He's nowhere to be found.
Mick, I came back because you invited me, and for one reason only. I came back here because, first of all, I do want to apologize to the fans for losing my cool, but I will never apologize to that Golden Idol. In fact, I wish he was here right now. He deserved everything he had coming.
Oh, absolutely, he did. Listen, it's obvious the man knows nothing about Vietnam. He's never picked up a history book in his life. All he was doing out here was trying to antagonize you and get under your skin, and admittedly was a very weak and emotional moment for you, and it happened, but certainly thousands of wrestling fans out there, Tommy. You don't have to apologize to anybody for cracking him across the face.
Well, I was below the belt because the simple fact is it had nothing to do with the wrestling interview. It had nothing to do with anything like that. That's something personal. I wasn't expecting it, and it just really hurt.
Okay. You've got other things on your mind, I know, as long as Mr. Idol has decided to take a powder. February 26th, of course, that big main event at George's in Fridley. The Golden Idol sends his man, Sheik Adnan LKC, into the ring against you. And now I understand if you, in fact, defeat the Sheik, you do get 5 minutes with the Golden Idol.
Oh, that'd be the greatest pleasure I've had in a long, long time. I can't express myself enough. I would love to get in the ring with the Golden Idol. First, I have to think of the Sheik first. It's going to be a rough, hard match. He's one of the toughest guys around. He's a dirty fighter. I've heard so many stories. It's unbelievable. But I've been training every day, and I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready for you, Sheik.
I don't think there's any question about that. Sheik Adnan LKC antagonizing... well, what do you know?
Hey,
Oh, my
listen.
God.
Tommy, here you are again. You're whining. You're whining to the people. The other night, I was in after the gold rush, taking care of my men. There you were. You showed up again. Ray Webby tried to get you to injure me so I couldn't be with my man, the Sheik. I took care of Ray Webby. Now, Tommy Farr, I'm going to take care of you. I don't need the Sheik. Yeah, I'm going to take care of you. You want to
Get
just fight
serious.
me? You want to fight me right
Get
here
serious.
so we can take care of business?
I know he's
Hey,
doing it again.
I'm telling you. Like I told you before. You're a coward. You're a coward, Tommy Ferrara. Come on.
What is the
Come
matter
on.
with
I
you?
want you to play it without me, Tommy.
all right,
Hey,
I'm-
you
Tommy,
just keep your mouth shut, Nick.
Tommy.
I want that. Come on, right here, Tommy. Right here. I want you to give me.
Oh, you are out of
no,
it.
no, no. Oh, what the hell are you doing?
Give me that mic. Give me that mic in here.
Hell,
Give me that mic. Get out of here. Get out of here. Take that punk away from
Sheik.
here.
Oh, Sheik.
That's okay.
That was good. That was good. Thank you,
You
Sheik.
know, let me tell you
That's it.
something. Tommy Ferrara, you've been coming over here on television and you've been shouting your mouth about Sheik Adnan LKC. Well, I tell you something. On the 26th of this month at George's, you people, if you don't like the blood, you people, if you don't like to see violence, listen now. I'm going to teach you a lesson you will never be taught the rest of your life. Because, Tommy Ferraro, if people don't like a blood like I said before, you better stay home. Because the Sheik is coming after you. You asked for a war, and I'm going to finish the war. Because I have been wrestling all over the world, and nobody has insulted my man. The Golden Idol. He's my manager. And I'm so happy for you, Tommy Ferrara. Now you only got a taste of Sheik Adnan LKC, what he can do. A lot of people in this one city know what I can do. I don't like to wrestle. I will advise you right now because I'm going to go in the ring, I'm going to bite you, I'm going to scratch you, and I'm going to cripple you, and I'm going to take you away, and nobody know where you gone, Tommy Ferrara. You better advise your family to stay home. They may not like to see you in a big mess. Thanks again, Eddie Sharkey, for giving me the match. And thank you again, Eddie Webby, for giving me the match. Because in the name of His mighty Allah, I shall accompany you. I'll tell you something. Boy, where is he?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do my best here under some very trying circumstances to maintain a little bit of composure after that incident. Ladies and gentlemen, if I have anything to say about it, that is the last time that golden idol will appear here on Saturday night at Ringside, let alone Sheik Adnan El Casey. Tommy Ferrara, an update on his condition. I believe he's going to be all right. He took a real nasty shot there to the head. Ray Webby and Eddie Sharkey are tending to him right as we speak. February 26th is the date, ladies and gentlemen, at George's in Fridley. Don't forget. Tommy Ferrara against Sheik Adnan El Casey, and hopefully Tommy Ferrara will in fact win that match and get 5 minutes with the Golden Idol, unless the PWA suspends that Golden Idol before the February 26th date. All right, let's get a grip on it and go back to some more wrestling news here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the Bring Back the NWA campaign. If we can get that address cranked up on the screen. There it is right now. Now, we've talked about this for the past couple of weeks. Judging by the mail and the response that we get here at TV23, there are thousands of you that are just itching to get the NWA back here to the state of Minnesota, particularly into the Twin Cities area. Now, what we're trying to do, and I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we got to try something. If you can send petitions, cards, letters, whatever, to that address, we will forward them to the offices of the NWA and Jim Hurd, and let him know how you feel about the NWA coming back here to the state of Minnesota. It's been a few years, and basically, you know, aside from the WWF and the great independent, the PWA, there's no live professional wrestling to speak of here in the Twin Cities area. So do it to it. They're not coming back here to wrestle in front of 1,000 people, I can guarantee you. So let's generate some response, and let's get the NWA back up here to the state of Minnesota. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you next week here on TV23, I'll give you all the details on how you can become co-host for a night here on SNR. What I want you to do is stay tuned again next week. We're going to pick one male and one female in successive weeks. You will co-host with me here on SNR. You'll interview the wrestlers. You'll dip into the mailbag for fan feedback and that type of thing. All the details next week on how you can co-host Saturday night at Ringside. All right, now let's get up on the screen right now the trivia photo that we ran for you last week. Take a close look. We had some guesses. Jerry the King Lawler, Billy Robinson. We had several guesses. There were a few of you who recognized that as the Boston Battler, Kevin Sullivan. Early on in his career, I'm not sure what belt he was wearing there, but in fact, Kevin Sullivan is the name. And not only will you folks who correctly identified Kevin Sullivan, but those of you who identified this week's trivia question correctly will win passes to Giggles Incorporated. This is a great Wednesday night comedy review at George's in Fridley, a brand new innovation going great guns, and you can win passes if you can tell me the answer to this week's trivia question. Listen carefully. When Curt Hennig was here in the AWA area, prior to his venturing, of course, out east and becoming Mr. Perfect, in addition to calling himself Minnesota's greatest athlete, Curt Hennig also gave himself two other nicknames in about a one-year period here in the AWA. That's all I want to know. What were those two nicknames that Curt Hennig called himself besides Minnesota's greatest athlete? There's the SNR trivia address up on the screen. Let's leave it up while I give you also this week's clue for our super trivia. It's as follows. No winners as yet. And remember, you can go out to dinner at Silks and Woodbury, win SNR t-shirts, appear on Wrestling Radio and SNR, pictures, programs, you name it. Here's this week's clue. Say it long or say it short. Initially speaking, he was a great in this sport. Got it? Say it long, say it short. Initially speaking, he was a great in this sport. Also, that's the same address you want to use, but remember, differentiate between SNR regular and super trivia. We're going back to the great action in Dallas. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm a little bit flustered and tripping over my tongue here, I'm going to go check on the condition of Tommy Ferrara and give you an update in just a few minutes. Let's get back to more great wrestling action with the USWA in Dallas. And hang on, we've got the video vault for you coming up.